Hey, everybody. Welcome to day 2 of How to Make Money with Email. We had a great time yesterday, or I did anyway, talking about quick start guides. And today, I want to go over some of those. I want you to share with me what you've got done, and I will give you some very gentle feedback on on what you're doing, okay? There is a couple of secrets to writing emails, I think. Again, this is Matt Molinism. Everybody's different. It has to be your voice. So this is my one size fits all cookie cutter plan here. It may not be right for you. I get it. But I really do believe that some of the things that I've learned can apply to what you have going on. Before we get started, any questions? As you've been looking at this, been thinking about this, all right, got it. What's got you concerned about the quick start guide or anything in general? Let's start here. Open mic. Go ahead and unmute. I want to hear what you're thinking.
Matt, I'm just wondering if we need to keep things short and sweet for an email message, or should we have a little bit more detail?
Okay. All right. Great question. And I will be answering that in practice. So I'm going to show you exactly how I feel about that. So awesome. Good question. All right. What else? What else have people got?
I'll have one.
Well, I'll be a pit. Go ahead.
Okay. I'm worried. I don't use a pop-up right now. I
Okay.
have the Slickstream favorites, and then I have a little one. And I'm worried that a pop-up will like make my site less appealing.
Okay.
I know everybody has them, but sometimes, it can put people off, and that's what I'm worried about.
I think that's a very fair concern. The other concern people have with pop-ups is, will it hurt me from a Google perspective, right? I'm sure other people have heard that. Michelle kind of nodded there. It could be that she was agreeing with me. So I will spend some time talking about pop-ups. I'll show you examples of what you can do safely, and also to Emily's concern, how do we actually do it so we're not annoying? Because I think that's the crux of what you're talking about. How do we maintain a good customer experience? It's a bad customer experience if we're annoying them. So yes, we'll talk about that too. We'll see if we have time today to go into pop-ups, because I think that's an important one. Great, good questions. You guys are batting 1,000 for good questions. Anybody have any dumb questions? All right.
Well, I was going to throw one more. Like yesterday, you had mentioned also possibly about curating something. You find in testing I've done, I found that if I give them too many links to look at, they seem to just go for one, and it falls off after a couple.
Yeah,
way off.
I really like that you're asking that question. So when I was talking yesterday about writing that email, be smart with links, I used to actually just say, just give one link, and that confused people. Because the spirit of what I'm trying to say is exactly to your point. People can suffer from email paralysis when we try to squeeze too many things into an email. Focus your message. What problem are you solving? Solve one problem at a time. Now, sometimes, like let's talk about food, for example. My 5 best Thanksgiving appetizers. All right, you may have one favorite. I may have another favorite. Somebody might be gluten-free and somebody might be keto, right? On your list. By giving them 5 different Thanksgiving appetizers, you're still solving the same one problem. You're just giving them a few choices. But if we had done, all right, here's my my 5 favorite Thanksgiving appetizers, and by the way, here's the last time I went to the farmer's market. Oh, and here's a picture of when I took my dog to the vet. It's a little gruesome. Look away. That kind of stuff confuses people. And so usually less is more. If you want, like Gary, if I had one thing that I needed people to click, it wasn't about me just chasing clicks. I needed them to click that one thing, then I would hyper focus, and that is the only call to action. In the case of the Thanksgiving appetizers, I don't care which one of them they click. In fact, I think that there might be 3 or 4 that they might love. that solve that particular problem. What that's like in the plant space, I don't know. I don't know exactly.
Well, for example, I might have and I'm working on it now. I might have an article on lighting, but if you had a southern exposure versus a northern exposure or a east or west exposure for light, you might say, listen, here's 4 articles I have on each one of those.
Right.
Whereas, so that's what I'm trying to get at. So, okay.
ايه عم قلك don't worry فأنا عم قلك
All right.
ألو
Okay. So, what else? Any other questions? All right, let's get started then. Thank you for asking those. That helps.
Can you hear me? Am I
Yes.
unmuted?
Hi, Jen.
Hi, I'm driving, so pardon the background noise. I have a question about the quick start guide. I really went through it last night in my mind, trying to come up with an idea for myself, and I have a recipe blog, and
Right.
I love the idea of that quick start to brewing, or I think fermenting, was it? But I feel like every one of my recipe articles, I kind of give all of the information, like the quick start guide is in one article, and I don't personally find like 5 Thanksgiving recipes as a lead magnet. I don't find that as compelling as teaching a skill, but I don't already have the content broken up into many different articles to leak out.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I am struggling with like what would be a really compelling thing that someone would want that I could bring from the content I already have written without writing a whole bunch of new articles.
Okay. What is your website?
It's Foodess, FOODESS.
Food S. Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Recipes, comfort food, and meal inspiration?
Yep.
Okay. So I'm on your website right now. What is and I'm just going to take a look at it here. Wait, did I hit record? Am I recording? Yeah, right? I am, right? I am. Okay, sorry.
Fancy.
Freaked out for a second. Who did I put in charge of that? All right. So what is your most trafficked? Where do you get the most traffic? What recipes?
My moist chocolate cake recipe and
Okay.
my Indian chai are 2 of my top performing recipes.
Okay.
And
So
I have a food science background, so I have that kind of unique selling power or superpower or whatever. But I haven't really broken that down into lots of mini articles. You know, I just kind of
Yeah.
include that within the content of one recipe.
okay. So side question. Are
Yeah.
you getting a lot of subscribers with your current efforts?
No,
Okay. So what I'm seeing on the website is join the tribe. Is that the main lead
Yeah.
magnet? The main hook?
I think like I really haven't put any effort into my mailing list, but there's some sprinkled throughout with get a free meal planner and
Oh, okay. Cool.
shopping list.
So
yeah.
you're not, this is pretty common. This is the reason I'm asking that question is to set up where I'm going next. The person that's discovering the Indian chai or the chocolate cake doesn't care about you or your background. They found you, I'm guessing, through Google, Pinterest,
Yeah.
Instagram, maybe a Facebook group somewhere. And in that moment, what they really want is how to make a cake or Indian chai. So
Mhm.
all that content that you referred to that you have already on the website that is there for the taking, this is just my experience, they are not seeking that out. They don't even know it's there. They don't, your own great aunt Mildred, who loves you and everything that you do, does not know what all the content on your website. So when we dangle the carrot in front of them, let's just go through the exercise for a second. What does the person that is baking a cake, what do we know about them if they want a chocolate cake?
They want it to turn out well. Maybe they want to know indicators of doneness. They want to know like step by step what everything should look like at what point in the recipe.
Yeah, I think that's exactly right. On top of that, we also know a few other things. They're baking. They like to bake because otherwise wouldn't you just go buy a chocolate cake? Or there's some other reason they're on a budget, maybe. I don't know. Why else are they there? But most likely, I'm just guessing, they like to be in the kitchen. They like the creative aspect of that. They like the accolades that they get when people try their delicious chocolate cake. Gary says maybe they're having a party and so they're putting it all together. So the exercise that I go through here is, what problem can you solve for that reader? I'll take you back to my example, Disney Cruise. There's tons of content on my website about how to enjoy a Disney cruise. But when somebody Googles Disney Cruise tips and they land on that, I know that they are probably going on their first Disney cruise. And so when I offer them what to expect on your first Disney cruise as my quick start guide, that thing converts like crazy because it saves them the time of going and finding all that other content, which is, as you rightfully said, is there. It's already there. But that's the glory of the quick start guide, actually. It's by taking that content that already exists and just packaging it up in a very simple way.
Except in my case, I feel like all of the content that they could possibly want around how to make a perfect cake is already on that one article. It's not like divided. So I'd just be sending the same link 5 days in a row.
What else do they like? If they're making a cake, they like to bake other things. Do you have other things to bake?
Yeah.
So 5 secrets to gorgeous cake baking. Okay, that's terrible. 5 baking projects to do this weekend. 5 baking projects to teach your kids, to do with your kids. 5 ways to impress your neighbors and friends. 5 desserts to take to your next party. I don't know what it is exactly. It could just simply be 5 days of amazing fall baking, where you share with them the pumpkin crisp and the rhubarb pie and the on and on, right?
Okay.
So what that does is we're just tapping into what do we know about them and then solving their next problem. I think you're right. Quite literally, they don't need more about that cake. In fact, here's a little story where I got this wrong. So I may have told this story on Monday. I had a dessert baking blogger who just crushes it in Google with pie. All right. So a lot of people are coming to these pie recipes. And then, so we put out this, 5 days of pie or something like that, thinking that, well, they like to bake pie. This is going to work great. It didn't, because what I didn't realize or didn't think about too much was, how often am I actually making pie and under what circumstances? Like, is it for one particular holiday? Or how many pies does one person make a year? Usually it's probably less than one. So offering them some secrets about how to be awesome at more pies, not super helpful. But then we switched to, something along the lines of what I just talked about, which was just desserts in general. It worked great because we had tapped into somebody that is willing and likes to bake instead of just buying the pie from Costco. So in your case, what are your favorite fall desserts? Maybe that's the place to start.
Okay, I'll start there.
Yeah, and then like 5 days of amazing, like you could have one day that is just all apple cinnamon stuff. And you could have another day that's all pumpkin spice whatevers. And the third day is comfort food type things. That's a great question. I think a lot of people struggle with that. But what I found is that we're overthinking that a little bit. You just dangle, hey, I have desserts. Oh, really? Okay. Even though there's a gazillion of them on the website already. If we do something seasonal, then you suggest we make Michelle, go ahead and unmute. Was that a question or a statement?
Yeah, just a statement, like, no, it's a question. So if we do something seasonal, like the top 5 baking recipes for fall, then we're making a different lead magnet for each season.
Yeah. If you really want to crush your list growth, what I hope for you is that you learn this technique that you can then replicate quickly. What I'm about to go into as far as about writing them, that's usually the most time consuming thing. But if you learn the tech and the technique here, You turn off summer, turn on fall. Turn off fall, turn on Thanksgiving. Turn off Thanksgiving, turn on Christmas. Turn off Christmas, turn on New Year's resolutions. I'm talking, generally here. Not everybody's going to want to do that. And usually I don't start there because most people don't have anything going on. So anything would be, just one general one site-wide would still be better than never miss an update. But yeah, where we're going with this is your existing traffic is your best source of list growth. The person that's visiting your website today and is interested in, I don't know, pumpkin spice latte is different from the person who's visiting your site today that is looking for a slow cooker soup. The slow cooker person, if offered a slow cooker opt-in or quick start guide, is more likely to sign up for the slow cooker quick start guide, right? So it's all about being as relevant as possible for each visitor. I don't mean to freak everybody out and say, oh, there's this ton of work to be done. What I'm actually trying to do is the opposite, is say, let me show you how to do one, and then rinse and repeat, copy it. Like literally you can take, in some of these cases, Gary is going to be able to take the beginning plant guide situation and duplicate that and go, okay, how does this change a little bit for an expert plant person? And then he's just going to change the words in each one of those emails. The food blogger, like Jen, maybe she's doing a fall baking series, and then she's going to release the Christmas baking series, where it's like copy paste, So there's a lot of people don't do this, but I'm telling you, if you want to grow your list faster, you just need to be more relevant to each visitor, and that changes. But let's start with the first one, right? If you don't have anything, let's start there. That's usually will do better than never miss an update. All right, these are awesome questions, y'all. Thank you. Keep them coming. I go fast and I tend to forget a little bit about how we do this. All right, so Emily's asking about how do you do this technically? And I haven't talked about pop-ups yet, but when we get to it, I'll explain why I think pop-ups are okay to do. But in the case of the Disney Cruise example with Disney Cruise Tips, I'm showing something different on that post than I am to somebody that's on a Disney coloring pages thing. How do I do that? It depends on which pop-up software you're using, but most of them will use a plugin that will connect to WordPress. And if you have them categorized the right way, so like in my case, I've got a Disney Cruise category, then it'll show a pop-up only on the Disney Cruise category. It'll show something different than site-wide. The same is true for a page or a post. And those are usually done by software in the plugin. So it depends on, Emily, what pop-up are you using? Or you're not using one, right? Yeah, okay. So MailerLite has one. I think you're on MailerLite, is that correct? So MailerLite has something built in. I can't remember how they specifically do it, but you can show different lead magnets on different posts and categories.
Okay, that would be good because some people are more expert and they're there for like an advanced recipe.
Right.
And they wouldn't want the quick start guide.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right, good. Okay, here we go. Are you ready to see some copywriting in action? Here's what I'm going to do. If anybody, I will go through I have time with this group to go through anybody's drafts, regardless of, it doesn't matter what stage you're at. If you haven't written the whole thing, that's fine. If you have just one and you want to share it with me, I'm happy to give you feedback based off wherever you are, even if it's outline stage, for your quick start guide, because this is fundamental to what we're doing. This is so important to get off this point of starting and move forward, and it doesn't happen until we start writing something. So let me help you if you're willing. I have Emily's and I have Gary's. If anybody else wants to share with me, hit me up here in the chat so that I see it. I have a couple of slides and I don't know where they went. I am struggling with Zoom today. It's not like I don't use it every day, all day long. Here we go. I found it. I'm a genius. I'm a tech wizard. All right, here it is. So before I dive in here, I want to share with you, where are we going? I get a lot of questions about I've asked you basically to trust me that we're going somewhere that makes sense. I've focused right now on list growth, but let me give you a high level cookie cutter approach for those of you who need it. Not all of you need it, but this graphic that I'm showing on my screen, I spared no expense, as you can tell, on the graphic design of this bad boy. Here's our subscriber list. How do we get people onto the list? Well, I'm suggesting a quick start guide, or multiples, as you heard me, or maybe bonus content. Let's call that an ebook or a checklist or a printable or download, whatever it may be that gets them in. Now they're on the list. Most of you that are prolific content creators can send more than one email per week. I'm suggesting 2. I'm going to talk to you tomorrow about about what I call a forever series. This is essentially an evergreen sequence that you set up and you guide your readers through a journey. It's really cool. It's really super smart. It works amazing. And then, of course, a seasonal weekly newsletter. I'll tell you tomorrow how I do those. If you want, I think there's a way to do RSS-driven emails and make it optional for your audience. That's kind of cool. And so I would certainly advise you to look at that. Well, I'll talk about all that tomorrow. I just wanted you to get a sense of where we're going. If you have not done so, last chance. Well, not last chance, but it's last time I'm going to mention it. Go get yourself, not everybody did it, access to the email and autopilot course. It's a $500 course for free from Raptive. So you might as well take advantage of it. And it's there for the duration. You have lifetime access. Okay. Before I go too far, I'm going to tell you what I'm going to tell you. All right. I haven't looked at Gary's. I haven't looked at Emily's or anybody else's that is willing to share. Before I even look at them, I'm going to tell you what I'm going to tell them. First of all, get to the point. People don't read emails, they skim. So again, this is a general advice. Some of you are all about the voice and your brand is, much more verbose and you want to be that way. That's cool. But even within that, as you're writing, you can trim your words by 50%. I promise you, you can do it. When you write something, write it. This is what I do. Write it out. Stand up, go for a socially distanced walk around the park, come back, sit down, and you can cut out half the words. And if not half, 20%, right? And it's still a tighter email. Next, use subheaders to break up the copy. This is skimmability. And it also tells people what's in each section. It's a very simple thing. I love a good subheader. Use bullet points. Use formatting. Call attention to the important stuff. Again, for skimmers, we're thinking about skimmers. And then lastly, what problem are you solving? If it's not super clear, I'm going to call you out on it. All right? Because they're skimming. So it has to be just right in your face almost about why do I care? And then we'll talk about subject lines again. I mentioned this formula yesterday, curiosity plus self-interest. All right, we ready to go? All right, let's do it. Again, share with me yours if you'd like me to take a look at, take a look. Well, I will start right here. Which one is this? 7 secrets to successful houseplant care. Gary, I love it. Here we go. Now, Gary, I'm glancing at this, and I can tell you already, right from the get-go, that what you have is great and will work wonderfully. Anything that I say from this point on is me simply trying to justify my existence on this call, okay? So take that with a grain of salt, and I'm just going to give you some general takes, okay? Yes, please unmute so we can have at it. All right.
All right.
First of all, how was it in writing this?
Not bad. Just basically used information I already had. So it was just really tightening it up, and there's more to cut out of it.
I love it. Okay. I'm going to turn on editing modes here so I can, suggesting mode so I can make some suggestions. Let's start with the title of this thing, because this is obviously really important. If this is going to be on a form, on a pop-up, you're going to talk about it. It needs to be catchy. Now, some of you hate the thing with the secrets. I know that. You haven't said it, but I know that you do. You think it's cliche, and it might be. So the point, though, is power words. I like to use the word secrets as a proxy. 7 secrets to blank. It just gets me thinking a little bit differently. If I'm thinking about fermenting food, if I'm thinking about baking a cake, because what are they expecting from us? What are they hoping for? They're hoping for shortcuts, hacks, tips, tricks, ways to make their life faster and easier and cheaper, right? So when we say something like secrets, it triggers that. So are there better ways to do it? Absolutely. Should you always do 5 secrets to this or that? No. But I want you to use, I just want to give you a helpful, what I hope is helpful to trigger the way to think about a headline. Gary, what I want to talk about here is I want to talk about jazziness. All right. Jazz hands, everybody.
Okay.
Because we have this much time with a pop-up or a form or a Slickstream highlighter where it's scrolling through and it pops up for a second. We only have a fraction of a second. So words that catch their attention are important. This is the magazine industry knew this for years. And that's why, because people are passing by that magazine stand, the headline needs to snap. Okay. So 5 secrets to successful houseplant care is on the nose about what people want. It doesn't, in my opinion, it doesn't drive a ton of emotion. It doesn't just grab me. Again, this is me nitpicking. This probably works great. Down here, make caring for houseplants easier than you think, I think is closer to their hot button, right? They're worried about, Michelle's worried about killing her plants. The words that Michelle used, maybe we want to think about. What words do other people usually use here? 5 secrets to not kill your plants. What if I'm going to brainstorm with you here? New plants. 7 secrets to keep them alive and thrive. That's a little long, but something like this. 5 secrets for beginner plant owners. Don't kill those plants. Like on the nose kind of stuff, right? So I don't know exactly what it is, but if you and I were working together, we'd spend more time on playing with that. Maybe take this, talk about it with your team, drop it into ChatGPT, whatever, see if you can come up with some new ideas. By the way, team, if anybody out there, Alex, Justin, whatever, if you have ideas for Gary, drop them in here. Let's all help him out or give him free labor. All right, let's get into this. Day 1. Hello, Matt. One thing that I like to do, this is just a Matt Molinism, is I like to do something here where I do welcome to day 1 of insert title here, whatever you end up going with. I like this because it reminds them of what they signed up for. Because remember, they don't remember who you are. They don't know who Plant Care Today is. They came in through an MSN article or something, and then they land there, and then they saw a pop-up, they joined it, they stepped away for a minute, they come back to their inbox. Oh yeah, that's what this is. So I like to do this on each one. Welcome to day 2, welcome to day 3. It also communicates that it's part of a holistic thing, a comprehensive thing, and that it will end. That if day 1 implies that there is an end to it, right? I love this. Gary nails it. What's the #1 problem in caring for plants? I'd probably do the biggest problem, overwatering plants. Have you overwatered your plants? You know the drill, a little bit is good, and a little more is better. All living things need, okay. I'm going to comment here. I like this tongue-in-cheek approach. This is very human. For skimming though, I might take that literally. Like I might not get that you're saying, you know the drill, a little bit is good and a little more is better. So if you're going to do that, you might say, again, small tweaks. I am terrible today. What is going on?
We all have days like that.
Something like that. Okay. Just so that it's super clear.
Right.
All living things both need water and your plants need to be able to breathe both. Well, 5 decades, the biggest problem is overwatering. I like this mention of, it's kind of a humble brag. It's just a subject matter expertise play.
Right.
help
That's
overcome-
all it's for.
Yeah. Yeah. I like it. Okay. Let's try this. Man.
So you make that a subhead.
You know where I'm going. Because if they're skimming, they're going to go, what's the number one problem? And then they're going to see this caps. They're not even going to read this. And then they're going to see this. And then you're going to say, oh, something like,
I don't want to jump ahead, but I will tell everybody if they start looking at this document, they'll see that I have added more content as I went into each days, and I plan on cutting that out, but I just wanted to have it there.
perfect. You need to know all living things. Okay, what about this? I'm going to be brutal about this.
Oh, well, that's what I want,
Plants
brutal.
need both water and air. My gosh, I'm just hating this right now. I'm just cutting as many words as I possibly can. If it's not,
Yeah, right.
If it's not bolted down, it must go, right?
That-
All
no,
watering plants stop.
Yeah, see, I was thinking about using, instead of saying stop breathing, I was going to say suffocating, but I didn't know if that was too big of a word or too.
I get this. I
Whatever.
like this. I like this mental picture. It's spot on. I like it. My 5 decades. If my 5 decades of growing plants, I've learned the secrets to the perfect amount of water. For the optimal watering and how to avoid overwatering, read this. Something like that, right? Okay, let's take a look at what
Right.
we've got. So welcome to day 1 of insert title. What's the number 1 problem in caring for houseplants? I mean, that's just, I love that. The biggest problem is overwatering. Have you overwatered? You know the drill. A little bit is good, a little more is better. You know, you might even do something like, no, that's dumb. Secret, stop overwatering. You need to know plants. I probably don't even need that. Plants need both water and air. They need to breathe both above and below the soil. Overwatering plants stops plants from breathing. In my 5 decades of growing indoor plants, I've learned the secrets to the perfect amount of water. For the optimal watering and how to avoid overwatering, read this. How do we feel? Is that, I mean, I made some very minor tweaks to what you had. What you had would have worked great, but it's just tightening it up just a touch.
So I have one question. That is, you see where I put add image. Do you think an image is good to have them click on, or is it better off just giving them a link and let them go to it?
That's the great question.
I
and
have
it's-
I have mixed feelings about it.
Yeah, it's a great question. And sometimes it's not necessary. You want to test it. A lot of times with
Okay.
food, it can be really, really helpful. Like in Jen's case, she's probably got beautiful cakes. She probably wants to showcase those. She spent a lot of time on photography and, and showing that off. In your case,
Right.
look, you may show a cactus and I don't have a cactus. I've got, one of those snake thingies or whatever. And, I'm really good at plants, by the way. So probably
Sign up.
I'd probably, yeah. Yeah. I'd probably just not have an image. That'd be my thing.
Right.
All right. Before I don't think we need to go through all the rest of your stuff, but hopefully that helps get the general take here. What I want to do
Now, okay. One question I did have is, you'll notice that below that, I also put a second link related to water. So there is, there's the article about this, and then, so I put question mark. Should you add about the using distilled water to water plants? Because it's actually a big deal.
Okay. So what I would probably do here is make this a button, so this is nice and big. Like this is the focus.
Mhm.
And then you might say something like,
Okay. I like bonus resource. That's good.
something like that. Yeah, I
Okay.
don't hate that. I don't think that's distracting. Matt wants us to use
How about at the very bottom when I said PS, see you tomorrow?
like it. Yes, I like this, everybody. I like, especially with a quick start guide. You don't have to do this with your other series and stuff, but with a quick start guide, we know what's coming next and we're guiding them to it. Tease it. What's the number 2 problem many plant owners make with their house plants? Okay. Yeah, I like it. All right, let's make some subject lines, everybody. Gary does not get to participate in this. Gary gets to sit back and just enjoy all of us laboriously working. Let's come up with subject line. You've seen what this email is. By the way, it's easier to do subject lines after you've written the email. Our subject line formula for today is curiosity plus self-interest. Now, it doesn't count. You don't get to do like day 1 of 7 secrets for beginning plant owners. That could work. That's a good fallback, but let's see if we can do even better. I'm going to start typing here, and you in the chat, you come up with some quick start, some subject line ideas for this quick start guide number 1. While I'm doing it, and let's see who comes up with better ones. All right, here we go. Don't look at mine. I'm not going to look at yours. No cheating. All right, I better see them fingers typing here. Let's go. All right. All right, how are we doing? Is everybody doing that over there? Gary was supposed to take the time off, but no, he's overachiever. I see that. Excellent. All right, let's take a look. What I came up with, and we can keep going here, but I don't know if these are any good, but reveal the number one way to kill your plant. Wait, my plant needs how much water? The number one secret to a healthy plant, or every new plant owner must know this. New plant? Try this. That also kind of. All right, let's see what you got. Ashley. Ashley, thanks for playing. I love it. Unlock the secrets to thriving plants with these expert tips. I like the expert tips angle. I kind of dig that phrase there. So discover the self-interest benefits of being a plant owner. Okay. Curious about green thumbs. Learn the secrets to healthy plants. Exclusive access. Insider secrets. Nice. Okay. Ultimate guide to successful plant owners. Secrets revealed. Okay, good. Number one secret to healthy plants. Stop overwatering now. Okay. Oh, these up top, these were probably quick start guide names, right? I see. Sorry, Ashley. The number one secret to healthy plants. Stop overwatering now. I like that one, but I don't want to, I think, Ashley, I don't want to tell them the secret. I think if they get the secret, then, and I see that in all of these, that you potentially, they feel like they already know the answer. And so I want them to come through. But what you have here, revolutionize plant care, unlock the secret to thriving plants. If you just stopped there, maximize your plant's potential with this simple tip. The key to lush green plants, try this expert tip, something like that. Is your plant holding its breath? I like that, Gary. I think you would want to test that, because if you make me think, you've lost me. Especially when it's that reaction of opening or going through my inbox. So it could work. It might not. It might be too cute. You know what I mean? Number one thing to avoid with a new plant. So you're gonna, I think you got to test some of that stuff. The easiest plants to grow. All right, great. Anybody else have any you wanted to share? Gary, do any of those jump out at you?
I would have to test them. I think probably what I would do is grab all of them and just sort of start walking through them and just actually ask some people, like, okay, is there anything that, does, like, for instance, as a word like revolutionize, does that make you want to read or not want to read? So I don't know.
Okay. Yeah. Go with your gut on whatever jumps out at you at first. That's probably a good place to start in the case of, go fast break stuff, and hold on to these because you can probably use some of these similar, like lush, plants potential, thriving plants, expert tips. There's some phrases in there that are great. Healthy plants, how much water?
What helps me as much as anything is actually hearing from somebody else. Like, I may not use the word lush, but other people reading it would. And so it's good to get those terms that I can use that I would maybe not have considered.
Right. And some of these might also.
So thank you, everyone.
This, that you'll get the bill. Everybody's submitting their invoices. And some of these might also work for titles as well. That's the thing. All right, great. Thank you, Gary. Any questions I can answer before I move on?
The only question I would say is related to the second day, where I said we covered this in the first day.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't normally do that.
Okay.
I'm not terribly against it. It does tie the two things together, but again, I'm usually like the very next thing, I go straight at it, whatever that may be. So
one other thing that I did on this particular one, if you'll see, I had put 5 takeaways. I ran AI against it, and I said, give me 5 takeaways. So at least that way they have some ideas of what the article is about, and then, oh, do you want to read it?
Okay, great. What I would do with that is take those same takeaways, drop it into AI, and try to, I'm not exactly sure what the prompt would be, but how do you make those mysterious? Like, where you're not giving the answer, but you're telling what you're solving. You know what I mean? In this,
all right, give me a minute and I'll do that.
In this article, you'll learn how to start getting great foliage.
Mhm.
We'll also learn what might cause, your leaves to drop. Things you'll need to know before repotting, and the step-by-step best practices for repotting. Right? That's just me just glancing at this
Okay.
instead of you telling them what it is. We need them to click through. That's what, that's the main point here. It's great if they get helped with your email series. And I have some email series where there is no link through. But in your case, you monetize back on the blog. And if we can get them back to the blog and answer their questions, and so accomplishing the same thing, I think we win. All right, thanks, Gary. Thanks for being my first guinea
Okay.
pig. I'm going to move on now, and we're going to go to Emily. You still with me, Emily?
Yeah, I'm here. Sorry, I was busily trying to put the formatting in because
Oh,
I already owned it in, yeah.
okay, great.
And then I just right now copied my second email in, but it has no formatting.
Okay, that's fine. We can envision the formatting without too much worry here. All right, so it's called Fermenting for Foodies. Is this an existing one?
This is my blog, so I just called that's just the header on the
Okay.
email.
What is the title of the Quick Start Guide?
The Quick Start Guide to Fermenting. This is, if you subscribe, you get to opt into the Quick Start Guide. So I did that because I did a book marketing course, and they were like, if you can get them to opt in to things, then you're more likely to get them to buy your book at the end. So
Oh,
this
that's
is
interesting.
like, they opt into my email, then they are opting into the Quick Start Guide. And at the end, the sales funnel is my cookbook. So that's what this was based on.
Is it working?
I don't know if people are buying books through the link at the end. Yeah,
Okay.
I don't know.
All right. It won't surprise you to see, I am sometimes right, seldom in doubt is how my wife describes it, I think.
All right.
So I have a slightly different take on this, on that point. It just, again, it depends on your objectives. Like, I think I hadn't heard that before, but but that is a really interesting psychological observation from the book marketing company. And I'm not trying to poo-poo that at all. I think that actually makes a ton of sense. If my goal is to grow my list as big as possible with people who found me on Pinterest or Google or an MSN article and don't really know who I am, I'm not likely getting them to buy a book right now. I need them to know who I am and why I'm awesome. And that comes through solving their problems up front. We don't care. Let me tell you about this. We don't care about the names of Taylor Swift's cats until we've heard Blank Space on the radio a few times. Right? Okay. The names of her cats, by the way, are Meredith Grey and Olivia Benson. Am I right? Okay.
I don't.
No.
I couldn't even name a Taylor Swift song.
One of them's called Blank Space. Anyway, so you wouldn't care about Taylor Swift's cats,
No.
right? Until you've heard about her. So that's, for me, that's the analogy that makes sense here. And that's why when Gary is sharing, he's just going right out. Let me share a secret with you about plant care. And everybody's overriding. This is the most common thing I know. It's the most helpful thing I know. And I want to get that in their hands, because then they start to go, whoa, plant care today is really helpful. And I'm going to really pay attention to this stuff. So, and also that carrot that he dangles about how not to kill your plants, your new plants, that's more in keeping with exactly what they want. Okay. So anyway, as far as having to opt into a secondary thing, I might experiment, if I were you, with, hey, let me just give the content to everybody who signs up and see what happens. Okay. Ask for, and then they can unsubscribe. Grow the list faster is kind of a little bit. All right, so Quick Start, Fermenting for Food features fermented foods and healthy recipes. Whether you're new to fermenting, we're so glad you're here. Quick Start Guys, an email series geared toward helping you get fermenting. Easy and delicious. Get involved. Get monthly updates. 2 of our most popular recipes. Did you know? Okay, so here you're giving all the background. All right, let's take a look at this. Are you excited? So this is the quick start guide here, right? The second. Are you excited to make fermented foods and beverages? It's easy and delicious. Here's 5 simple secrets to success. Okay.
And all the secrets are in one email. So maybe that's the problem. I have the emails are the 5 secrets. Then I do like the types of fermenting, and then I do favorite recipes. So it's like sort of a 3 email series, but maybe they're a bit long.
Okay. That's a different approach, but I don't think it's terrible. What if we were able to get recipes into this? Could you get recipes into every email? Like, I've told you the secrets and now go do it.
Mhm.
I want them to click. I want them to come back to the blog. I want them to take action and fall in love. You don't want them to be grab and go and gone.
Right. A lot of these are linking to things. So like there's a link to the types of containers for fermenting.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like literally everyone has 1 or 2 links in it, each of the points.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like ingredients, there's a link. Here's a post. I got you. Oh, I see. All right. Find out more with the different. Okay. I might argue that each one of these is an individual email.
Right. Okay.
Hi, Matt. Welcome to day 1 of 5 simple secrets to fermenting. Hey, it's not that fermenting is not as hard as it seems. You just need to know the right ingredients. Secret number 1, here's the perfect fermenting ingredient list. Natural ingredients are the best. They don't have to be organic. Just watch out for additives and preservatives. Here's how, here's my list of fermenting ingredients and how to tell if they're right for what right for your project. But
Right.
this stuff, I would avoid anything that feels like chemistry and science. That's me.
Right.
That's a Matt Molinism. Dumb down the language for people. I had a C- in chemistry in high school. Okay. So when you use words that make me think that there's going to be math or preservatives or sulfites, what the heck's sulfite? I don't know. I just want to do fermenting. I may be completely off. I acknowledge that the fermenting audience is probably not Matt Molin, and maybe they need that.
Yeah.
Maybe it's the exact opposite of what I just said. But either
Well, I
way,
get you. I think the beginners might be not sure. Like, that's why I'm not sure, but I like the idea of having 2 guides, because I think this wouldn't appeal to somebody who's on my site making beer,
right. That's right.
They've already got this stuff, which is why I did the opt-in too. I only have 1 automation, but if I made multiple automations, it might make more sense.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm feeling that too. Yeah. Again, it's about how to be relevant to that visitor. If somebody Googled how to get started with fermenting,
Mhm.
I feel like you can skip that whole opt-in step of thing and just go, here's the quick start guide. Here's how to do it. And then if they're making how to make artisan beer, you have a quick start guide for that.
Right.
5 mistakes to avoid when making your beer or whatever.
Right. Yeah. That'll be a lot then. But yeah, I get you.
But the other point, I think it's worth pointing out, this can be an email. Less is more. Don't feel like when you're giving this for everybody, when you're writing a guide, sometimes an email can be shorter than a tweet.
I like your idea of I could do 1 bullet point and then instead of giving the recipes at the end, give a recipe and sort of like make it like a work with me.
Yes, I like that.
Type thing.
Yeah. So if if the gist of it is kind of like how I've positioned this mastermind, if you'll just do these step by steps, by the time you're done, you will have the perfect fermentation. Make this on day 1, make this on day 2, make this on day 3. And the thing you need to know about that is X. What we're focusing on here is supplies. And here's how I illustrate that example with this particular recipe that uses that glass.
So do I end the guide with the first email you saw where I'm like, add me to your
That's what I'd do.
So after, then I can be like, make sure you get everything by adding me and
because
joining my Facebook group and like all that's at the end.
The rationale for that is in that moment when they're on that post about fermenting pickles or whatever, they see the guide. When you dive in with the very first thing, like Gary did with the very first thing you need to know is overwatering. If he did all this, it's like, okay, I was ready to know the first thing right away, but this is just, okay, this is all about, because this is all about you. This is not about them.
Yeah.
Why would I get involved? Why would somebody who has a new plant get involved in Gary's Plant Care Today Facebook group. They don't care about that. They just want to make sure there's new plant. Now, by the time they're done, they go, this is fun. I see there's a
Yeah.
whole community around this. Yeah, I'm in.
Okay, I like that. Mhm.
Cool.
I'll have to make 2 different automations.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
maybe I'll keep this one until I make all the other automations, because I have like a lot of more advanced recipes that no beginner that they wouldn't be interested into a quick start guide for beginners.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I definitely don't recommend, this is for all y'all. I am not advocating throwing away what you already have.
Right.
Maybe replacing
Hmm.
or adding to, but definitely just for the sake of throwing something away until you're have something better. So yeah, good work, Emily. I think you get this concept, and I think with your niche, it's interesting. You know, Matt Molinisms may or may not apply because it's totally different, but I think I really like the direction you're going here.
Everybody can ferment. It's for
Everybody.
everyone. That's
You know
my
what?
point.
I've
Yeah,
been
no, I get you.
I've been fermenting for 50 years now.
Exactly. Okay, and then what do I do? I have some recipes, like my second most popular recipe is a cake that has no fermenting involved at all. So is that a healthy root foods pop-up, I guess? A different pop-up for them?
So you have a bunch of other recipes that's just almost like a traditional food website?
No, like they're focused on like gut health, but people would land there. So the cake is a sugar-free, naturally sweetened cake. You know, that is definitely,
Why is it your
more
most
healthy.
popular? Did you just
It's
happen to
not
rank
my
for it in
most
Google?
popular, but it's up there.
So it's
At the
a
moment,
little
my
bit of an
most
outlier of
popular
the
is
other stuff?
wine, but- Pardon?
It's a little bit of an outlier of the other stuff?
It's because like I do this whole no sugar thing. So there's a whole no sugar, like eating fiber, like feeding your gut health aspect to it.
So maybe create a quick start guide for that segment.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I gotcha. It's going to be a lot of work.
You do it once and it'll serve you
Yeah.
for years. My Disney Cruise quick start guide, I made it in 2017 and I've tweaked it 2 or 3 times and that's it.
Mhm.
So yeah, these are assets that will serve you for a very long time.
Okay.
All right. Okay. Look, folks, this is exciting stuff. There's nothing more exciting than watching somebody else copy edit somebody else's copy. Am I right? So I hope that you were sufficiently buckled up for that. Does anybody else have one that they want me to look at? I'll stick around if you do, but to wrap up, just as a reminder, if you want that ConvertKit link for the 30 days free, here it is. And then I already shared with you the code for the email on autopilot. What's your homework? Launch. Get out there. Finish this quick start guide. Go fast break stuff. Put it on a form on your website. Put it on a pop-up. Put it on the entire website. If you just want to put it out there in one little spot, great. If you want to put it everywhere, go for it. Let's do this. You will not learn until you put it out. And additionally, if you want at any point during the course of this week, you want me to look at your opt-in, new or existing, I'm happy to critique that too. I've seen approximately 675,000 opt-ins in my lifetime. And so I'm happy to look at those and give you any feedback that occurs to me. Michelle, great question. I'll talk about the pop-up plugins tomorrow when we talk about pop-ups. So I'll bring you some specifics that you can look at and can consider. I'll do a whole presentation about it. All right, Jonathan, stick around and we can talk about yours. But if the rest of you got to get, we'll see you tomorrow when we're going to dive into pop-ups, Forever series, what to send on a weekly basis, should I use RSS feeds, and how do I make money with that? So all that. All right. Thanks, everybody. All right, Jonathan, go ahead, unmute.
Hey, can you hear me?
I can. All right, where are you at? Tell me how I can help.
I'll leave my website there. So I was just coming up with my topics for the quick start guides. We'll probably have 2 of them to match my audience. So my website is automotive. So most of my readers are owners of this particular car.
Sure.
And then I also have a smaller portion of the audience, which are people who are looking to buy the car.
Okay.
Um,
Are these top posts actual, is this literal based off of traffic?
yeah, based off of traffic.
All right, tell me what you're thinking.
So I think I'm good with the quick start guide for the buyers. I have posts about, how long you might expect to wait for the car, comparisons of different models, the colors that are available. So not too worried about that side of it. But for the people who are already owners of the car, so they maybe just bought one, or maybe they've had it a couple years, I'm not sure if I'm on the right track. I was thinking of having an email about like different tech features and safety features, another email about different drive modes like eco mode, sport mode,
Cool.
maybe another email about noise, because that's a complaint that some people have. Maybe like 10% of people have that. So I don't know if that's relevant enough to have a whole email about that. So I have 2 articles about how to reduce noise in the car. And then I have an article about modifications. So if people buy the car, they want to add some accessories to it. I can write an article about that. And then a guide on using remote start was my last idea, which also kind of falls into those like tech features categories. So maybe I should just put it in there. I don't know if I'm on the right track with that.
I love it. So basically what you're saying is, here are the hidden features of the RAV4, or get more out of your RAV4, or enjoy your RAV4 more, or unlock the RAV4 secrets, right?
Yeah. Like here's the features that are useful, that you might not understand right off the bat. Here's how to use them. You'll use these every day.
I love it. Honestly,
Okay.
I really, really like it. I think you just need to work on that title. What's inside of it? Yeah, that's almost, I'm not saying that's inconsequential. I assume that you have the content. And you'll have to play with whether or not noise is or this tech feature is interesting or whatever. But my guess is that if it's ever come up, that even if I didn't know I was thinking about it, or if I wasn't, I'd be like, oh yeah, that is an issue, and I want that to be better. So I don't think you have any problem there. So
Okay.
I really, really dig that. I also really dig what to expect when you're expecting ... your new RAV4 or something like that, or how to buy a RAV4, or what to buy, a buyer's guide, or something along those lines might be some headlines to try.
Okay.
I like it. Yeah. You're basically, what you're doing for me as a RAV4 reader who had a question once and came to your website. You're enticing me to share a little bit more about the RAV4. My guess is that most people Googled something like, tell me about the RAV4 hybrid battery replacement. They land here, and then they're like off and gone, because they don't need to know about sport mode. They're not thinking about the LE versus the XLE. They don't care. But you're telling them what to care about. Did you know you can do this with your RAV4? Huh? What?
Yeah. So capturing their attention is definitely really important.
Right. And then not just that, after you've captured that attention, delivering them awesome stuff. There's all this other stuff about the RAV4 Prime qualifying for a federal tax, blah, blah, blah. But when you say, did you know it can do this in sport mode? Holy cow, go try this. That's cool. I like it.
Yeah, I have like a PDF of like the 5 little known RAV4 secrets. Do you think that would be worth integrating into like its own email? I wouldn't say it's very useful. It's more just like a curiosity thing. Like what does RAV4 stand for? People don't really know that. That was just like an old lead magnet I was using. I don't know if I should just trash that, and maybe that doesn't quite fall under this quick start guide theme that we're trying to go after.
I wouldn't make it the thing, but I would include it. So
Okay.
if it has any value at all, then it feels like a bonus. So, hi, Matt, welcome to day 1 of 5 ways to unlock the hidden features of your RAV4. Today, we're going to talk about these things, noise canceling, whatever, or, the sport mode, or blah, blah, blah. As a special bonus, today, I'm also including a free PDF of ... Like, it's not like it's an afterthought, but it's a special bonus that you're giving to people. But it's not the series. That's kind of where I have a beef with the PDFs, is I've done it so often where I'll give a PDF, and that's the extent of the it doesn't extend your brand experience with them. They're like,
Right.
got it and in a moment. But a quick start guide, when you're, for 5 days or whatever, they're like having RAV4 resource in their inbox. That's the difference. So it's not that I hate on the PDFs. They can be useful and they can be helpful. And if you've got it already, why not?
Okay, awesome. Yeah, that's super helpful.
Sweet. All right. I can't wait to see it.
Awesome.
All right. Thanks, man.
Thanks.
Thanks, everybody. We'll see you.
Yeah.